So what did y'all think about PBC's Amazon Prime debut? What up, YouTube? Bit Tszyu Heavy Bad Boxing TV, man. Get your goofy ass in here and hit the bag, hit that like button for your boy. That helps the channel. You know, I appreciate that love. Shout out the gang, the bag hitters, man. Y'all know the count. And shout out to everybody who came out and watched PBC's Amazon Prime debut fight with us on my live. I truly appreciate y'all. Shout out Coco, Troy Jack, DJ J, CCI, Mark Wynn, Sean Newchurch, everybody who came out and hung out with me for the fight. Now, Tszyu. I can't sit here and say that it's a complete surprise. I've been saying the same thing over and over again ever since this fight was announced just merely 12 days ago. This was a last minute fight, and for Tszyu to actually say yes to this fight, it just even further made me a bigger fan of Tszyu. This is a fight that most people just wouldn't have taken on short notice. You're talking about a 6'5" southpaw with an 80-inch arm reach, and yet Tszyu, to save the card, said yes. Oh. But not for nothing, and maybe my Aussie family ain't gonna like what I'm about to do here.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Australia, I'm sorry about Tszyu tonight. But I had to hedge the bet, baby. Check it out. Oh, yeah, look at it. And it was plus, I didn't think it would be this high. It's plus 700 for Fundora to win this fight by decision. Plus 700. That's why it's so much off of $50. Your boy struck, baby. I'm sorry that Tszyu lost. I definitely had. Now, my actual prediction was, of course, if you heard the live and what I've said several times moving into this fight, was Tszyu to win by knockout. And I had him winning in the 10th. But I did hedge this bet. But let's be real. Let's be 100% real. Both of them had to fight through adversity tonight, right? It was most definitely a bloodbath. I do believe Fundora suffered a broken nose. We'll have more details on that. You know, most definitely in upcoming, in the near future. And Tszyu suffered a hell of a cut on the top of his head that kept his face bloody for pretty much the better part of this fight. And he had to fight through the worst kind of adversity possible in a fight where you have a cut with blood just continuously pouring into your face and into your eyes. And in a lot of those spots, you could tell, especially from the jabs he was eating, that Tszyu just could not see. A lot of those spots, he was swinging for the fences, hoping to hit something because he couldn't see. They would halfway get the cut under control in the first part of the rounds, but by the end of the 3-minute round, he's got a face full of blood and blood continuously pouring into his eyes. So by far the most adversity Tszyu's ever been through. But you have to give Fundora all the credit in the world because he was going through adversity himself. Again, more than likely to me, because of the color of the blood and the way in the middle of his face and his nose was swollen, I think I can safely say he had a broken nose. And with a broken nose, you're constantly swallowing blood. You can't breathe out of your nose. He had to breathe out of his mouth for the better part of this fight as well. Right around the time Tszyu broke Fundora's nose, he also cut his head on Tszyu's elbow. So plenty of adversity for both fighters. And I'm almost glad it happened that way because it sort of kind of evened the fight, right? A lot of people would say, well, the blood in your eye is seriously, you know, being able to not see is definitely a really great handicap. But again, I don't know if you ever suffered a broken nose or a bloody nose. To be able to actually breathe, you want to, and it helps your stamina to be able to take deep breaths throughout the fight through your nose and exhale out of your mouth. That helps, conserve the stamina. It helps that motor, helps that engine, and Fundora wasn't able to do that. You know what I mean? So again, almost an even playing field with the injuries that occurred for both fighters, and Fundora was able to dig deep, man. He was able to stick to the game plan. I kept telling you guys, if he came into this fight learning a major lesson from a Brian Mendoza, that he could potentially box his way into a 12-round decision. And that's exactly why I bet that he could potentially win by a 12-round decision or decision period. And that's what happened. He had extreme success with the jab. The jab was there all night. Again, for somebody who's 6'5" with an 80-inch arm reach, campaigning at 154 pounds, that's a huge advantage. And if you ask me, if he was to get his mechanics right and get that style down pat, there's nobody at 54 that would really be able to beat Fundora. But now, because he has holes in his defense, it's very possible to beat him. Brian Mendoza has proven that. But if he's buttoned up and he's on the back foot and he's just fighting behind that jab, listen, that's a hell of a task, man. I'm sorry, he's a cheat code at 54 at 6'5", 80-inch arm reach. And that's what we saw tonight. And Tim Tszyu was able to get in there and land some significant shots. One judge even had it 116 and 112 for Tim Tszyu. I couldn't see that for the life of me. I was more around the 116, 112 for Fundora. And this is just me being real. There's no bias here. Now, just because I've been seemingly rooting for Tim Tszyu for a while on this channel doesn't mean I'm not going to keep it real. Doesn't mean I'm going to give you biased commentary, and it definitely doesn't mean I'm going to give you biased thoughts. I thought outworked Tim Tszyu. I thought that the jab won this fight. Even though Tim Tszyu did have some successful spots, I just believe the blood in the eye was too much adversity to fight through. As again, in a lot of spots, I thought he was completely blind. And how do you fight like that? You kind of just let some punches go, hoping that they land, and that's what we saw in a lot of spots from Tim Tszyu. But Fundora working behind the jab, putting together some really good combination punching, reluctant to let the left hand go, but he really didn't need it. Taking advantage of his height, taking advantage of his reach, and most importantly, just keeping that jab out there. That's what won Fundora this fight. Bottom line, taking control of the distance and keeping that jab in Tim Tszyu's face. That's what won him this fight. Now, I feel like this should be an immediate rematch. I think we get a completely different fight if Fundora's nose isn't broken and Tim Tszyu has a gash the size of the Mississippi River, and there's not so much blood, of course, to help dictate how this fight goes. I think you get a different fight. I think Tim Tszyu picks better punch selections in different spots in this fight had he was able to see. I think he'd be able to place punches a little bit better. I think he would have been able to get his combination punches off a little bit better, something that he just wasn't able to do tonight. It was pretty much one shot at a time for the most part from Tim Tszyu. So for me, because both of these fighters face some adversity, it changed the course of this fight, to me, in my opinion. So for Tim Tszyu, man, I don't know if it was a rematch clause, but if it is, he's got to lean on these guys to get him a rematch with Fundora. I do think you get a whole completely different fight if the blood factor and the injury factor wasn't in this fight. That's just my opinion. I could see very well what Tim Tszyu could have definitely did way better in a whole lot of spots had he been able to see correctly, man. If he had his full vision, most definitely this could have been a different fight. And you could say the same thing about Fundora. If he could actually breathe in this fight, because Tim Tszyu did hit him with a body shot, and it really hurt Fundora, and I didn't know what to expect from that. I thought he would concentrate a little bit more to the body, but he didn't. He did probably a little bit too much head hunting for my liking. But he hit him with a right hand to the body that you could really see it hurt Fundora, and he couldn't breathe out of his nose. But he fought through it. Man, listen, Fundora's a tough son of a bitch, and if Fundora didn't make a fan out of you tonight, then I don't think you like boxing. But hell of a fight. And as far as the debut for the PBC, man, tonight was great. I think the production was seamless. The transition from Showtime to PBC, I think that was seamless. I think that was a major question mark for a lot of people, with PBC now being in charge of their full production. And of course, Amazon Prime just being a place for you to actually stream the fight. I thought they did a great job. I thought they did a hell of a job. And everything looked sharp. Everything looked crisp. The camera angles was there. I don't think they missed a beat. You know, I don't think you could decipher this production from a Showtime production. If not, to me, it looked like it was a little bit more crispier, if I ain't tripping. Even the graphics that they put up, you know what I'm saying? It just looked, it looked extremely crisp. And I thought the card for the night, especially with the Rolly Romero, Isak Pitbull Cruz, and of course the main event, I think they delivered. In my opinion, it was a great job. Definitely want to get you guys' thoughts in the comment section. Of course, you guys let me know what you think. Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora, hell of a fight. Definitely deserves a rematch, in my opinion. Want to know your thoughts. That's all I got for y'all on this one, man. Big T.O. heavy bag. I'm out of here. Talk to him, Roger.
Most motherfuckers don't know shit about boxing.